Morning. Welcome to the Bucks County Commissioners meeting for April 20th, 2022. We're going to begin with the pledge to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. And just to clarify, we had a little bit of an issue at our last meeting about public comment. If you are going to speak at either of the public comment periods, we ask you to sign up now, basically, if you haven't already, before the first public comment period. So that will be for both the agenda one and the general one, signing up, right away, and then we'll just pull that list one time. Don't have to keep kind of going back and pulling it throughout the meeting. So, okay, we are. Have a couple of presentations today, which we're honored to make, recognizing different people and events and things going on in our county for the benefit of the residents, and also really because it's very easy to get sucked into the negativity that exists in not only this county but all counties and the country as a whole. We want to try and do what we can to emphasize the positive, and we are going to start off recognizing what's coming up in a couple days, which is Earth Day. Whereas in 1970, former Wisconsin Senator Gaylord Nelson launched the concept of Earth Day to mobilize students to work together and organize a national environmental teach-in. And whereas Earth Day has grown into a worldwide annual observance that stresses our responsibility as individuals and as a community to protect and preserve the environment for the future of all generations. And whereas this year, on April 22nd, Bucks County will join billions of people across more than 190 countries to celebrate Earth Day. And whereas the Earth Day 2022 theme is Invest in Our Planet, which encourages people to get involved by learning about the environment or attending events and activities that help make a difference. And whereas a green future is a prosperous future, so businesses, governments, and citizens must act boldly, innovate broadly, and implement equitably. And whereas the Middletown Township Parks and Recreation Department, in partnership with the Bucks County Department of Parks and Recreation, organizes an annual cleanup day in observance of Earth Day at Court Creek Park, which this year will be held on Saturday, April 23rd. Now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2022 as Earth Day throughout the County of Bucks. In doing so, we recognize Middletown Township's Park and Recreation Department for their efforts all year round, and we encourage all Bucks Counties to support efforts that promote environmental awareness, stewardship, and protection of the environment in Bucks County and beyond. When I was a supervisor in Falls Township, I was the liaison to the Environmental Advisory Council, and so I know from my years of doing that when it came to Earth Day, different townships and boroughs had their own EACs that would plan things for Earth Day, but it was usually Middletown Township that people sort of gravitated toward. They really have a kind of program that's an admirable one, brings a lot of the different communities together, not just for cleanups like this one, but doing a large Earth Day event. And so we're honored to have Paul Capera here from Middletown. If he's here, and please come forward, and happy to have you here, and give us a little bit of an idea of some of the things that have been going on.
Thank you very much. My name is Paul Capera. I am the Director of Parks and Recreation for Middletown Township. I would like to thank the Bucks County Commissioners for having us here today. I'd like to thank our partnership with the Bucks County Park and Rec Director, Angie Nagel. She's been fabulous taking over the realms there. When I was thinking about my 2 words, I wanted to say thank you, but I wanted the lead up for, especially in April 2nd, Bucks County has its hazardous waste cleanup that we took advantage of. We got our community out there. April 9th, we had our shred day at Oxford Valley Mall so people could safely get rid of their documents, and we recycle that paper. April 16th, we had the community cleanup, 50 volunteers, 5 sites, 70 bags, 8 car tires, 1 40-inch TV, and a shopping cart. Okay, all out of the Queen Anne Creek, Mill Creek area. We have our Earth Day event this Saturday, and then April 30th, we have our community cleanup. So it is a collaborative event. We are really thrilled, as you mentioned, the EACs from as far north as Upper Makefield and as far south as Falls Township join us on every year, and it's a great way for everybody to share and collaborate. So I do thank the county commissioners for this award.
Thank you. Come on up. Sure. Congratulations. There. Okay, thank you. We are also celebrating National Volunteer Week, and a volunteer group that really, it's difficult to put into words what the 640,000 people of this county truly owe to our, not only our health department, but our Medical Reserve Corps. You know, when you talk about volunteers and the work they did in the circumstances for the time period and dedication of hours and days and weeks and months and years to try and keep as many people safe as they could. You know, we're honored for everybody who volunteered, and Commissioner Marseglia has a proclamation she would like to read.
Thank you, and welcome to being here today. Whereas the mission of the Bucks County Medical Reserve Corps is to train, engage, utilize, and maintain a team of medical and non-medical volunteers to support the health and resiliency of our communities. And whereas the Medical Reserve Corps, established in the aftermath of the September 11th attacks, is a national network of more than 200,000 volunteers organized locally to improve health and safety across communities and across the country. And whereas the Bucks County MRC, established in 2005, today has more than 400 volunteers engaged in public health preparedness and response training, including the COVID-19 pandemic and historic flooding in Lower Bucks. Whereas the Bucks County MRC is sponsored by the Bucks County Commissioners and the Bucks County Department of Health and operates with the support of the Bucks County Emergency Management Agency. Whereas between March 2020 and February 2022, hundreds of Bucks County MRC volunteers provided more than 11,000 hours of service to our community through pandemic-related activities. And whereas during July 2021, volunteers also helped to staff the Multi-Agency Resource Center established by the state and county emergency management in response to the severe flooding. And whereas throughout the year, even on blue sky days, Bucks County MRC volunteers offer their expertise at events such as senior expos, festivals, and community trainings where they provide public health and preparedness education to attendees. So now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, hereby proclaim April 17th through 23rd, 2022 as Volunteer Appreciation Week throughout the County of Bucks. And in so doing, we honor and congratulate the Bucks County Medical Reserve Corps and commend the volunteers behind the Corps for their selfless effort in educating, preparing, and protecting our community in the face of a pandemic and natural disasters to support the health and safety of Bucks County residents.
Okay. Thank you. And we have Fal Maggio and Mary Lambert here, who I think are going to come up and say a few words.
Good morning. Thank you for having us, and thank you for recognizing the Bucks County MRC volunteers. This is Fal Maggio, and my name is Mary Lambert. We work for the health department, and in addition to our health department duties that we do regularly, we are the MRC program coordinators. And we're celebrating their 17 years of service. So for some people who are not familiar with MRC, Medical Reserve Corps, it was started in 2002, so 20 years ago. It became very apparent after the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks that there was really no system or structure to allow volunteers to help their community. So MRC was born. It's based off of 3 concepts, which you can read there. Basically, giving volunteers a structure to help the community during an emergency, training the volunteers so they're ready, and also using the volunteers to strengthen our public health infrastructure. Just to give an overview, it is a national program. It is overseen nationally by the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response. Nationwide, there's over 800 of units made up of 200,000 volunteers. Here in Pennsylvania, we do have 10 units, 5 of which are here locally in the southeastern region, and we have over 5,000 volunteers. Here's a couple of the historic nation responses that MRC supported. Not going to go through all of them, but MRC does support the nation with H1N1. That's what we're more familiar seeing them with, is supporting vaccination efforts and testing, but they also as mentioned, helped with natural disasters. So they help with shelters and just recovery aid services. They do outreach, they do education. They really do a lot for our community. They're very versatile, and they're just a very good group of people.
So Mary talked to you about MARC at the national level. I have the privilege of speaking about the Bucks County Medical Reserve Corps. So as Commissioner Marseglia read earlier, our mission, I wanted to highlight the fact that not every MRC uses medical and non-medical volunteers. Ours is certainly not unique, but one that does utilize both. We believe everybody has something that they can bring to our communities. So the Bucks County MRC was founded in March of 2005. It's housed through the Bucks County Department of Health. We have 405 volunteers currently. As you can see on the table to the right, our greatest number of volunteers are actually non-medical, followed closely behind by registered nurses. We do have some requirements for volunteers to be enrolled in our unit. First of all, they must be 18 years and older, and then meet those other requirements. So from 2005 to 2019, MRC volunteers for Bucks County participated in many different responses from the local level all the way up to the national level. Two that I'll highlight are the papal visit in 2015. You can see we were actually staffing a first aid center. And then in 2014, a regional mass care shelter for a winter ice storm. So the unit's activities, things that we do throughout the year, or at least we did pre-COVID and we hope to get to soon, our volunteers were participating in a significant number of trainings: CPR, stop the bleed, epidemiology, how to operate mass vaccination and mass dispensing clinics. Our volunteers were also providing education in the community, letting citizens know how they could better prepare and respond to emergencies, as well as discussing other public health topics. They supported hospital drills, regional exercises with other MRC volunteers, triage drills for mass casualty incidents, and our yearly flu vaccination. Additionally, they supported first aid tents in the community, drug take-back day, and other clinics.
So most recently, as mentioned, MRC was an integral part of the county's response to COVID-19. It was also mentioned that within 7 months in the beginning stages of COVID, they answered over 16,000 calls from the public. They donated generously over 11,000 hours within that time, and that was made up of 300 of our MRC volunteers. Not only did MRC support the health department and our initiatives, but when called upon, they helped other county departments. As an EMA, they helped with distributing test kits. A local hospital's testing facility supported that. And also in the beginning, when children vaccinations were eligible, they were helping a pediatric office as well. They did call center, as I said, but they also did case investigations, contact tracing, pretty much did everything that the health department had to do with the response. And we didn't just roll, they didn't support us, we really relied on them.
So here are some of the activities and photos of what our volunteers contributed most recently in the test kit distribution that we did in this year to provide COVID-19 testing kits. You can see in the bottom the Warwick Square Vaccination Clinic. That is actually made up of MRC volunteers and spontaneous volunteers. So we did have a small group of people who provided additional support, and we'd like to recognize those volunteers as well. So as Commissioner Marseglia mentioned, our volunteers in the middle of a pandemic also helped to support the Multi-Agency Resource Center, or the MARC. You'll tell we love acronyms. They supported it by helping with registration, traffic control, distributing water, and other duties as assigned. And then within a few weeks, they also supported a call center that was established to further connect impacted residents to needed resources. So I think you can tell that there's so much more to the MRC than what we can fit into 8 minutes and into a proclamation, although I think that proclamation really captured the spirit of what the unit does. Our volunteers are energized, they are motivated, and they are incredibly dedicated to the citizens of this county. And I hope you will join me in thanking them, because we actually have some who came today, some who are joining us over the internet, and those who couldn't because they're still, out in the community serving in other capacities.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sure, absolutely. Bring whoever you want.
MRC volunteers, if you'd like to come up for a photo as part of recognition, we'd love to have you up here.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. And we would be remiss as well if we didn't acknowledge, not only, Mary and Fallon, but there's a lot of coordination that goes on. You have 400 volunteers, and you've got to figure out who's got what skills and where you're going to put them and what events you have coming up, and trying to do that. And obviously that was, some people, in the MRC helping, but also the staff as well. So thank you for everything you did. Our third presentation is to recognize Mr. Dave Nyman. Not only he wears many, many hats here in Bucks County. We do have a letter of commendation for him, and he's going to be awarded the Governor's Award for Local Government Excellence. And so I'll let Commissioner DiGirolamo read the letter, and we'll hear a little bit more.
Thank you, Dave. Congratulations. We, the Board of the Bucks County Commissioners, congratulate you on receiving a 2022 Governor's Award for Local Government Excellence, in particular the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors Career Recognition Award. With 28 years of service to East Rock Hill Township, your dedication and commitment to the township alone is proof this award is much deserved. But in addition to your duties as supervisor, you have also served for 4 years as township manager for Upper Makefield Township, and you have served other townships in various interim management positions since 2000. Aside from township responsibilities, you also answer the call of your county and state. You have been faithfully serving the Bucks County Planning Commission Board since 2006, and you are an active member of the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors. We hope you enjoy this day and know that your community is a better place because of your continued commitment. We join all Bucks Countyans in saluting your recognition and honor of being a 2022 Governor's Award recipients. We wish you continued health, happiness, and satisfaction of a job well done. Dave, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm truly honored and grateful for this recognition, especially at state level. However, no one receives that level of recognition alone. I've been blessed to work with many dedicated professionals, elected officials, both at the local, county, and state level. Far too many to name individually, but all contributing to the same level and attaining this recognition. Having developed a respectful and mutual working relationship with these and many professionals and elected officials at all levels has undoubtedly contributed to this honor. And again, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Well, you got the paparazzi following you here. Thank you very much again. Appreciate it. Good luck. Okay. And we'll move on with our public comment here. One name we have on the list, Andy Warren.
Commissioners, good morning. I have 3-point questions here for probably item B1. On April 7th last year, you all passed a contract that read exactly the same as the one today for $49,000. Today, we're passing a contract to do what reads the same thing for $65,000. Does anyone question the 30% increase, what we're getting more? Item 2I, on March 17th of last year, you all passed a contract that extended from July 2020 until June of 2021. So it was a year ago for $10,000. Today, we're going to pass a contract that starts July 1st, 2022 until June, a year from now, for $20,000. So if we're extending the contract, my question is, what contract are we extending, since there wasn't any contract for a whole year last year? But ironically, we're passing one today for the same thing for twice as much for a year ago. And for 2I, or no, I'm part, yes, that was the 2I, 2U. We're on April 7th of last year, we passed a contract for $164,000 that read precisely the same as the one today that you're going to pass for 85. Well, it's 255, but it's 85,000 a year. The only difference is we've taken a section out for the health department. What accounts for that reduction? And finally, by my rough calculation, we have $2,665,600 of ARPA, Recovery Act money that we're spending today. How long will this go on? And are we spending, as far as I can gather, in many areas, the COVID issues are being reduced, but we're still spending $2.5 million. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just kind of addressing, that's the only agenda item comment we have. Just addressing some of the comments, the first question about the adult probation, the documentation we have is that the costs are actually absorbed by the individual who is going through. It's for people who are on probation, or they're on monitored, usually ankle bracelets, anklets, things like that. So they absorb the cost of that. The ARPA funding goes through the end of '24, and the funding is used obviously to, part of recovery. Going through the biggest pandemic in 100 years, recovery does not happen overnight, and especially when you're focusing on people who may have had disadvantages even before the pandemic hit, which got compounded by the pandemic, and making sure we're doing the best we can to remedy that problem. And the PSI, the $255,000 contract with PSI, which provides temporary personnel, that is something focusing on the Board of Elections, especially. Area Agency on Aging already had the contract with that vendor, and so rather than create a brand-new contract, just piggybacking off of the existing one. It's interesting, just today in the Inquirer, there was an article about Philadelphia, one of their commissioners, Commissioner Dealey, rattling the cage because of the exorbitant costs that counties and the city of Philadelphia, or county of Philadelphia, have to absorb as we conduct elections. That was something that passed with Act 77. There were a lot of changes and a lot of positive changes in terms of making it easier for people to vote, but it also makes it more complicated, makes it more expensive, and there was no funding to go along with it. And so, I think as we get better at it, we can do it with a little bit more cheaply, which is you're talking about the reduction. Why are we spending a little less this year? I'm assuming obviously in 2024, when there's a presidential election, we might have to spend a lot more to staff up because of the quantity of votes we're going to have to deal with, the quantity of ballots. So any other comments or questions? 2I. Dr. Carroll, Ms. McKevitt?
So there's a succession of contracts. I've been looking through this now, starting in 2019. And in addition to that, the increased need is the reason for the increase in cost.
Yeah, thank you.
I believe there was. So there's one in,
Ms. Neff?
yeah, are you looking at?
Ms. Neff can. Go ahead, Ms. Neff, if you want to address.
So there was a contract for 2021, and Margie McKevitt is correct that there's an increase in psychological evaluations needed for guardianship issues involving our area agency on aging.
Okay. We can try and get you that, but sure. Sure, we can get you that. Okay, any other comments or questions? All right, before we kind of move on the agenda, or the consent agenda, just a couple minor adjustment here. For some of these, they are pending solicitor approval. It should have been added in there, and it just was not. So 2N, 2O, 3A, 4F, 4H, 9A, 9B, 9C, 9D. Essentially, all of them dealing with ARPA funding. There's obviously a little bit more hoops to jump through, understandably, when we're using ARPA funding, so we have to make sure that the law department wants to make sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed from the vendors as they're submitting contracts to us. So 2N, 2O, 3A, 4F, 4H, 9A, B, C, and D are all pending solicitor approval. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as well as the minutes of the April 6th meeting? Consent agenda is items 1 through 14B.
So moved?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. Okay. Moving to our regular agenda. We hope anyway, we've seen the last of winter. Last couple days have been a little bit rough of an adjustment. So as we're moving into warmer weather, it's time to start talking about being outside and building more trails. So, Mr. Brailer, happy to have you here.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here. I was glad to see Middletown's efforts with Earth Day are being recognized on April 23rd is Earth Day. It's also Celebrate Trails Day, and we've put out some placards to indicate the website you can go to celebrate those efforts. And as part of that effort, we'll actually be doing the ribbon cutting for the Newtown Rail Trail Section 1 next Wednesday, 9 o'clock at the Southampton train station. It's also on the Planning Commission's Facebook page, so if you need more details, you can go to that event page. Today I'm here to talk about 3 different trail-related projects. The first, 15A, is an easement we'd like to execute with Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority to allow us to construct a portion of the Neshaminy Greenway Trail to access Dark Hollow Park. We've been working with them, and we've come to an agreement. The easement documentation, obviously, you have in front of you, and it'll allow us to create basically a connection from the existing sidewalk in front of the Coles area along Alms House Road, just east of Easton Road, and then go parallel their property and take you back to the Neshaminy Creek. Of course, in order to do that, we need to access their land since we don't have direct contact with Alms House Road. Once we get that executed, we'll certainly get that recorded at the Recorder of Deeds. The second project is the Newtown Rail Trail Phase 2 extension, and that will take us from the existing trail, which we're going to have the ribbon cutting for next week, cross Bristol Road, follow the SEPTA rail line until we hit the county-owned Churchville Nature Center. And we managed to secure a grant to do the design and engineering work for that, and that's through the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission. And this is a contract that allows us to have Gilmore and Associates, which you approved a few months ago, to perform that work. And that contract will cover 80% of their work up to an amount of about $238,000. There is a match for that, and the county will provide that match, obviously. The last one is a new project that we'd like to apply to the state for funding for, and that's what we're calling the Trails Gap Study. Basically, what we want to do is do an analysis of the existing trails out there and find out where those missing connections are. Those short sections that if we could get from one trail to the other would provide basically a cohesive trail network and allow people to get further distances based upon that. We would be applying through the Department of Community and Economic Development. The grant we're looking to secure is about $60,000. It would also require a match, but we intend to do that study in-house, so our match would be in the form of services in kind of our staff. If we got selected for that project, it would probably begin next week and probably take about 12 months to 18 months to complete. And those are the items I have on the agenda.
Okay. And just for clarity, talk about the Trails Gap Study. You'll be looking at, obviously, local township, borough trails, county trails, and just, how, where they need to be connected.
Absolutely. We want to connect all the trails and then investigate ways to how we could get those trails implemented, identify some of the reasons why they haven't been connected yet, and then possibly come up with some funding that would make that happen.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Any comments or questions for Mr. Brailer regarding the ongoing effort to improve the trails in Bucks County?
Thank you, and thanks for the perseverance.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all happy to do it. We're looking forward to the ribbon cutting next week. I did see too, kind of connected to this a little bit. Several years ago in Falls Township, we built a walking path, a trail, if you want to call it that, on New Falls Road, which is a road that is heavily traveled by car, not a lot of sidewalks, and there have been some tragedies involving pedestrian accidents over the years. I did notice that PennDOT is coming through with some funding for building that walkway now in Middletown and Bristol Township, which is going to be a great addition, making things a whole lot safer for people in those two townships along that roadway. And eventually, there's an example of something where we can start linking things up a little more. Right. It makes it a lot easier for bicyclists, for joggers, for people walking, kids going to school, going to the store, or wherever. So, yep. Okay. All right. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So we have on our regular agenda item 15A, B, and C, all focused on trail improvements and design. Is there a motion to approve 15A, B, and C?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Personnel actions, is there a motion to accept the personnel actions as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Board appointments, we have several to the America 250 PA Bucks County Commission, Christine Triantos and Dana Barber. For the Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council, Jeremy Wexler and Lorena Rodriguez de la Garza. For Drug and Alcohol Commission, Matt McGarren. And for the MHDP Advisory Board, Dr. Tracy Lorden. Is there a motion to appoint those people? Actually, I should get the timetable, sorry. For Ms. Triantos and Ms. Barber, their terms would end as July 5th, 2026. Area Agency on Aging, Mr. Wexler would end January 1st, 2025. Same with Ms. De La Garza. Mr. McGarren, Drug and Alcohol, would end November 1st, 2023. Dr. Lorden for MHDP would end April 2nd, 2023. Is there a motion to appoint those 6 people?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Other civics, there are 3 contributions. The county is making $30,000 to Bristol Riverside Theater, $1,000 to Foundations Community Partnership, and $1,800 to Neshaminy Pass Program. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Chief Operating Officer, we have it.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a number of events coming up, and I'm going to defer some time to a couple of different people here to shed some light on some of these great things that are happening in our county. First, I'm going to ask our Deputy Chief Operating Officer, Gail Humphrey, to talk about the upcoming election on May 17th, if she would.
Thank you. Like Margie said, our primary election is May 17th, so we're getting close. I just want to put out a plug, and hoping people want to come and join our team on Election Day. We need more poll workers. We specifically need poll workers in the following communities: Warminster, Middletown, Bristol Township, and Falls. We need about 15 more employees in each of those municipalities, municipality-wide. Poll workers are paid. They are paid $195 per statute for a full day. A half day of work is $97.50, and if you sign up to be a judge of election, which means you kind of run the poll, you are paid $200. We are offering poll worker training both virtually and in person. We will do individual poll worker training at each of our 3 government service centers in Levittown, Doylestown, and Quakertown. And you do get paid $10 to come to our training, again, per the state. But, you know, we have a long tradition here of folks who traditionally work their own poll, and we thank them for that. But we do need help in a few areas, and you don't have to live in that community. You just have to be a registered voter in Bucks County. You can come out and join our team that day. So I urge everyone out there to contact the Board of Elections if they have any interest in that. I can give everyone a few more updates for those who are choosing the option to vote by mail-in ballot. Those ballots will be leaving our printer sometime Friday or Saturday. So you'll start to see them in the mail mid next week. And just throw out some stats and numbers. Per the new law, Commissioner Harvey talked about Act 77, we sent out 133,000 mail-in ballot applications that we are required to do by the Pennsylvania Department of State. To date, we have received back and processed 47,900 of those. And I think we'll probably still continue to get a few more over the next couple of weeks. You have until May 2nd to register to vote. And finally, the ballot boxes will be available in our government service centers beginning Monday, April 25th at the hours of operation of those buildings. And then we have library partners who we are very thankful that they work with us, and those boxes will open on May 2nd. Again, those are the hours of operation of those facilities. So look on the county website under the Board of Elections and look and see where your local library is and check those hours to see what time those drop boxes are open. And we are going to have the county government service centers opened the 2 Saturdays before the elections, and they will be open from 12 to 5.
Okay, just one correction or one statement. I think Northampton Library has moved to like having Sunday hours, but I don't think our boxes could be open on Sunday. Is that accurate?
That is correct. That box, the chute will be locked. So if you go to that library, you will not be able to put
There are
On
hours,
Sunday.
the county is not doing ballot boxes on Sundays.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. McKevitt?
Thank you. And then next up, we have Director of Drug and Alcohol, Diane Rosati, to talk about the Drug Take-Back Day. I believe that is April 30th.
It is. Thank you, Ms. McKevitt.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Khan. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you an update on our highly successful medication take-back. I bring thanks to you, the Commissioners, for your ongoing support in this project that began in Bucks County in 2010. So we are really very, very invested in this project, and it is not a Drug and Alcohol Commission-only project for sure. The District Attorney has been our partner throughout the entire project, and at the end of my brief presentation, you'll see a little bit of just how committed the District Attorney is with this project. So we intend to continue to collect unused, unwanted, expired medications from Bucks County and certainly from any other resident that wants to turn them in. The project began in 2010, and it really began as a project to help to save the environment. Because we weren't as interested at that point in collecting medications as a whole, but the tide has really turned. So since 2010, Bucks County residents have turned in over 170,000 pounds of medication. We collect because we know that over 50% of people who misuse medication pain relievers get them from friends or from relatives. Prescription and over-the-counter drugs are the most misused medications, and Americans aged 14 and over, we know, get them from medicine cabinets. And we know that when medications are flushed down the toilet, sort of old school, that certainly affects the environment, and all chemicals are not removed. I'm here today to ask you to help us. Every resident can help us with this project. In the drug and alcohol prevention field, we are often asked, what can community residents do? And this is something that every resident of Bucks County can help us out with, and we want to make that plea to all of you today. So please help us to spread the word. The next medication take back, as you see on the flyer on the right-hand side, is Saturday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have over 48 sites where residents can just drive up and drop off their medications, no questions asked, completely anonymous. We have created a toolkit virtually online that any resident, any community, community of faith, school district, hospital, medical professional can download. It includes the location flyer, video scripts that we encourage, social media posts, and graphics. So we encourage residents to go to any one of those 48 sites. That are listed on the right-hand side, and you'll see that flyer is the brand that we've created and we continue to push out. What's important about these sites is that residents can bring any medication, and at the 48 sites, we also have sites that will distribute Narcan at no cost. Narcan is the life-saving medication. It is clearly a tool, but it is a life-saving tool, and we want to make sure that as many residents as possible receive Narcan. So we're providing Narcan at no cost as well at many of the sites. The other issue that we have identified through the community is that residents are collecting, unfortunately, their used sharps and needles and sort of storing them in the home because they've had no place to return them to. We tried this project out last spring, and we collected 250 pounds of sharps that residents brought in their laundry detergent boxes and so on. And we knew we were onto something. So in the fall, we tried it out again, and we collected 450 pounds. And then we knew, with the support of the district attorney and certainly with Dr. Damsker's help, we're pushing forward a permanent disposal of sharps. So the hospitals in Bucks County, 5 of the 6 at least, have agreed to install permanent sharps boxes. And we'll be doing that in the spring, and we'll certainly let everybody know about that. So even though the take back is a week from Saturday, and we do this twice a year, and you see it advertised, and we partner with the DEA on this project, it gets a lot of publicity, and it's a very important event. But it is not really the event that we want to push, and that is that we want residents every day to go to one of their local medication boxes and drop off their meds, not to hoard them, not to keep them in the home. They can be diverted at any time, right? So we want to make sure that residents are aware that they can go any day, anytime, mostly to their local police department. There is a medication drop box in this building. There is one in the Justice Center. Thank you so much to everybody who offered to let us have those boxes. So I just want to be sure that everybody is aware that you can drop off your meds any day, any time at those locations as well. We're working on pushing out, and public information is helping us to push out a lot of social media posts on this. The commissioners, even today, are going to be doing some videos for us and ask you to share those pieces. Now we have, very brief, it's a 30-second public service announcement to share with you with the district attorney on the medication take-back day, and you may have seen it already, but I wanted to share with you today. You are welcome to also share that on too.
It's time to clean out your medicine cabinet. Bucks County Police will be collecting unwanted or unused medication for safe disposal via a drive-up and drop-in system on Saturday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Find the collection site nearest you by going to bcdac.org. Pull up to the drive-up and drop-in location, then drop your meds into the box and drive away knowing you have helped keep your community safe. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Quick, paid for by Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars. You see logos, and there just isn't enough space for all the logos. And I will share with you that it is the Drug and Alcohol Commission, the District Attorney's Office, every law enforcement department in Bucks County, all of the human service departments, the hospitals, and most importantly, community members that make this project a success. So I just wanted to thank everybody for your attention this morning, and please help to share the word on the April 30th take-back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sure.
Yeah, Diane, thank you very much for this. I mean, it's such an important program. I mean, 170 over the life, we've been 172,000 pounds. I mean, I think of it's almost 90 tons, I think. So, I mean, if look at 90 tons, Matt, you're shaking your head, 90 tons of these little pills, getting them out of the homes and off, keeping them off the streets. And our sheriff, Fred Harron, when he was a director of public safety in Ben Salem, and he would go out and talk to parents at their graduations or different events, and he would always say there's a new drug dealer in town, and it's the medicine cabinet in your own home. Because when you have unused medications in your home, whether they're expired or not, and addicts don't care about medications being expired, they're not going to take them. They're going to use whatever they can get their hands on. When you've got unused medications in your home, you just never know. God forbid your children, God forbid their friends come into the home, or other people or relatives, and they're roaming around, going to the bathroom, looking in your medicine cabinets. Those medications are going to disappear, and they're going to be used for the wrong reason. So that's why it's so important. Go ahead, Diane. Yes, sure.
In Bucks County, we have collected more medication than any other county in Pennsylvania. So we are #1 in volume of medications collected. And by calculation, Bucks County collects about 25% of the entire state of Pennsylvania
Well, that's
medications.
really, yeah.
So thank you for
Yeah.
mentioning the volume, and that's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Matt, did you have something?
Hello? Yeah, thank you. I also wanted to remind people that we take vapes and pet medications. People don't know, but pet medications can be diverted as well, and we want to prevent that. And when people come up to me and to Diane and all of us here who are so behind this program, they say, what can we do? This epidemic is just killing our kids. I say, here's a very easy way you can help. And so that's the best way to put the message out there. So something that every person can do is clean out your medicine cabinets, drive up and drop them in the box, and you don't have to wait. You can do it 365 days a year at most of the police stations. So it could not be done. We would not be #1, not only with all the commitment of the people in this room who have been heavily invested in this, credit to you, but with the commitment of all of the people in our community who not only get it, but they've been mobilized to action. And